The numbers are staggering. Recent estimates from the Philippine Department of Energy suggest the existence of previously undisclosed oil and gas reserves. These reserves, located deep beneath the archipelago's waters, could hold as much as 15 billion barrels of oil equivalent. This is not a small find. This is a discovery that could fundamentally rewrite the economic geopolitical story of the Philippines. For a nation that has long been a net importer of energy, dependent on the volatile whims of global markets, this is more than just a resource. It is a potential lifeline, a path toward energy independence and economic sovereignty that was, until now, largely considered impossible. The story of this discovery is not one of a single sudden event, but of years of patient, methodical work. It is a narrative built on data. It is a narrative built on technology. It is a narrative built on scientific rigor. The primary evidence comes from extensive seismic surveys conducted by the Department of Energy in partnership with international companies. These surveys use advanced acoustic imaging technology. Ships send sound waves deep into the earth. Hydrophones capture the returning echoes. By analyzing travel times and signal characteristics, geologists map subterranean structures in 3 dimensions. Seismic maps revealed large anticline traps and sedimentary basins. Data from Rectobank and the Sulu Sea shows traits akin to top offshore fields. To truly grasp the magnitude of a 15 billion barrel reserve, we must place it in context. First, consider the Philippines' energy needs. The country consumes approximately 450,000 barrels per day, about 164 million per year. Even a fraction of 15 billion would meet demand for decades. 5 billion could cover over 30 years. That could eliminate dependence on foreign oil. Against ASEAN peers, a 15 billion reserve would be the largest in Southeast Asia. At $80 per barrel, 15 billion barrels equals about $1.2 trillion. With GDP around $450 billion, the oil's gross value is over 2.5 times annual output. Exploration and extraction costs are substantial, and partners take a share. But revenues could still be transformative. Imagine national investments, modern transport, efficient ports, stable power, education, healthcare, and robust safety nets. The most immediate benefit would be a massive influx of government revenue. Managed properly, it could flow through a sovereign wealth fund or dedicated national programs. Pay down debt, free up capital for public services. Invest in critical infrastructure. Build climate-resilient works and universal internet access. A domestic industry creates high-quality jobs. Engineers, geologists, technicians, construction crews, logistics, and support staff. Once online, permanent teams run production, maintenance, and management, building a high-skilled professional class. Ripple effects stimulate local economies, adding housing, retail, and services. Replacing imports stabilizes energy costs, taming inflation and cutting household power bills, boosting industry competitiveness. Deep water needs partners, bringing FDI, technology transfer, and upgraded skills, signaling the Philippines as a top capital destination. A new player on the world stage. Geopolitical shifts. Significant reserves in the West Philippine Sea catapult the Philippines into a complex geopolitical chessboard. Much lies within the Philippines' 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone under UNCLOS, but these are waters China also claims. High-value resources raise the stakes. Manila will recalibrate foreign policy and strengthen alliances. The Mutual Defense Treaty gains urgency. Washington backs navigation and law, and a key ally's assets. Within ASEAN, energy status elevates leadership potential. Globally, a new non-OPEC producer can aid price stability and boost Philippine influence. The pursuit of oil wealth carries profound environmental risks that cannot be ignored. These waters, part of the Coral Triangle, are globally vital. A major spill would devastate reefs, mangroves, and seagrass, an unmitigated disaster. Fisheries, food, and livelihoods for millions would suffer. Day-to-day extraction footprints include drilling muds, produced water, and toxins entering the marine environment. Noise disrupts whales and dolphins, altering migration and communication. Onshore buildouts risk coastal degradation, habitat loss, and pollution. Influxes strain water, sanitation, housing, raising costs and social friction. Indigenous rights and free, prior, and informed consent must be respected, on land and at sea. The resource curse, corruption, cronyism, authoritarian drift, can erode institutions if revenues lack transparency. To navigate the path ahead, the Philippines must establish a robust, transparent regulatory framework. This is non-negotiable. Create or empower an independent upstream regulator, free from political influence, with authority and technical capacity. Oversee licensing, enforce safety and environmental standards, hold multinationals accountable, mandate full transparency in contracts and payments, align with EIT, track every peso. Create a sovereign wealth fund with clear rules on saving, investing, and spending. Invest a portion globally for future generations. Fund the budget with strict caps and safeguards. Mandate benefit sharing with host communities, schools, clinics, and livelihoods. Use oil revenues to accelerate the renewable transition, solar, wind, geothermal, and beyond. Build a permanent sustainable energy system, create green jobs, and lead on climate. The Philippines stands at a historic crossroads, a moment of immense promise balanced by profound peril. Up to 15 billion barrels is more than a statistic. It could be a turning point. One path leads to independence, growth, and influence. Poverty falls, islands connect, government serves. Another path fuels corruption, deepens inequality, damages ecosystems, and sparks conflict. The choices we make in the coming years will decide our future. Every Filipino has a stake, from Palawan to Manila, Cebu to Mindanao. We must demand transparency, accountability, and justice. Defend sovereignty, resist corruption, protect the vulnerable and our environment. The path from potential to prosperity must be built with deliberate, transparent, courageous action. Government, under vigilant public oversight, must move now. First, enact the Philippine Upstream Petroleum Act. Create an independent petroleum directorate, open competitive bidding, publish all contracts, set a clear, stable fiscal regime, and legislate a sovereign wealth fund. Second, form a multi-sectoral oversight council, civil society, academe, indigenous peoples, LGUs, and business, with access to data and standing to challenge, reporting to the public and Congress. Third, launch a 30-year hydrocarbons to renewables master plan. Dedicate a legally mandated share of revenues to a green transition fund. Finance solar, wind, geothermal, and grid modernization, securing energy, economy, and environment. This strategy uses temporary oil wealth to build a permanent, sustainable future. We have a once-in-a-generation chance to reshape our destiny. We must choose wisely and act now.